There are so many things to love about Japan. The nature, the history, the culture, the amazing food. If you've been wanting to go to Japan and would love to use points and miles to get there, this video is for you. I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know to find award availability on All Nippon Airways, more commonly known as ANA. In case you're new here, hi, I'm Mel, and I share my travel experiences and teach you the how-tos for free travel. If you like this type of content, remember to hit the like button and subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you don't want to miss any future videos. And with that, let's get started. Earlier this week, I booked award flights to and from Japan on ANA, and it was a little more challenging than I expected. So I thought it might be helpful to post a video showing you my steps. I'm going to Japan for a particular event, and because of that, my dates aren't very flexible. And in the points and miles world, that's never a good thing. Finding a great redemption is always much, much easier when you can be flexible. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the best methods for great redemptions when you have the flexibility to go whenever great deals pop up. But once we cover that, I'm also going to share strategies with you for how to book an ANA award flight when you don't have as much flexibility, or when you even have specific dates on which you need to fly. I'm also going to show you some of the strange, unfortunate glitches that you might see when you're trying to book an award flight on ANA. I was actually a bit hesitant to make and post this video because I really don't want to scare beginners away from this game. So if you're a beginner and you think you might get discouraged from seeing some of the difficulties that are part of this game, I recommend that you skip the video for now and come back to it later when you think you're ready for more challenging award redemptions. But for the rest of you, let's go. Scenario number 1, booking when you have flexibility. In recent months, ANA has been releasing generous amounts of award seats for flights that are close in, a few days away, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So if you're hoping to go to Japan and you have the flexibility to jump on deals when they come up, I think you'll have a really easy time finding what you need. By the way, this works best for nonstop flights, so if you're in the US, you want to be departing from Los Angeles, San Francisco, Seattle, Houston, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and New York City. And if you don't live near these airports, you might want to consider a repositioning flight to get you there. To find award space on ANA, the first thing you need to realize is that you have options, and you don't have to book your flight on ANA in order to have an ANA seat on an ANA flight. This is because airlines often form alliances in order to better serve their customers. All the member airlines allow the other airlines in the alliance to sell cash and award tickets for seats on their planes. They do this because it gives their passengers access to more destinations, provides options when a flight is canceled or delayed, and it allows passengers who have elite status to enjoy the same benefits on the other airlines. ANA is part of the Star Alliance, and because of that, you can book ANA award tickets through any of their partner airlines. The 2 Star Alliance partners that you'll be interested in using for ANA award flights are United and Air Canada. But you should know that ANA also has a non-alliance partnership with Virgin Atlantic, even though they aren't part of the same alliance. So you can book ANA award flights through Virgin Atlantic as well. Since it's not a formal alliance, it's possible that the relationship could eventually end. But so far they are still happily partnered, and they even have an award chart telling their customers how many miles they need for ANA tickets based on class and routes. So no signs of a breakup, at least for now. So remember, you can book an ANA award seat through ANA, as expected, but you can also book it through United, Air Canada, or Virgin Atlantic. The easiest way to find close-in availability is to use United to do your initial search. The United search tool allows you to view a month at a time, so it's a fast and easy way to search for award availability. This doesn't mean we have to purchase our tickets through United, it just means that we're going to search for availability, and then we can still book somewhere else if we want. So I go to united.com. If I want to travel from Chicago to Tokyo, I put Chicago as the departure and Tokyo as the destination, so that I'll get results for both of Tokyo's airports, Narita and Haneda. Most people prefer Haneda for convenience because it's closer to downtown Tokyo, but you can get into Tokyo from either one, so it's best to stay flexible at this point. I then select a close-in date and make sure my search is set to one way and book with miles. and make sure you select the class you're interested in. For me, that would be business class. I then hit search. It brings me to only one day of results, so I select 30-day calendar and the monthly availability pops up. I then look for days that say either 100,000 or 110,000 because I know that's most likely Saver award space. I see that December 11th says 100,000, so I select that. I'm in luck because there are 2 different ANA flights from Chicago to Tokyo on that day, and they both have ANA award availability. We can see that it's operated by All Nippon Airways, which is ANA, and it's for business class I, which is Saver award space. Once you find the flight, you have 3 options for booking. Option 1, book with United. If you're sitting on a lot of United miles and you really don't mind spending 110,000 miles, then you could just book your award flight right then and there on the United website. To book right there, you would pay 110,000 points plus $5.60 in taxes and fees. I don't usually recommend this because I prefer paying a smaller number of points, but maybe you're in the situation where the ease of this option is worth the extra points to you. Or maybe you prefer paying more points, but only $5.60 in taxes and fees. There's nothing wrong with that. Only you can decide what the best option is for you. When deciding whether United is the option you want, you might want to consider that only 2 of the flexible travel reward credit card companies will transfer to United, Chase and Bilt. So keep that in mind when making your decision. Also, as I've mentioned in the past, never transfer points before you know that there is availability, because transfers are a one-way street. In other words, once you transfer flexible points to a specific transfer partner, you can't undo it. The points only transfer in one direction, and then you have to use them in the program that you transferred them to. With all that in mind, let me show you the other 2 options you have for booking. Option 2, book with Air Canada Aeroplan. Once you find the flight you want, write down the date and time and head over to aircanada.com. You're going to select one way, book with points, type in Chicago for your departure and Tokyo as your destination, and put in the date of the available flight you found when searching on United. When you search, if all goes well, you'll be brought to a page that shows the same flight that we found on the United website, but this time it'll be offered at a different rate. For a business class flight from Chicago to Tokyo, instead of requiring 110,000 points plus $5.60 in taxes and fees like United, Air Canada Aeroplan requires 75,000 points plus $76 in taxes and fees. This is for the exact same seat on the exact same plane. If you prefer that option, luckily it's really easy to earn points that you can transfer to Air Canada. 4 of the 5 flexible travel reward credit card companies will transfer there: Chase, Amex, Capital One, and Bilt. But remember when I mentioned unfortunate glitches in the beginning of this video? I've done this exact same search many times in the past, and Air Canada shows the same award availability that United shows, when things are working as they should. But there have been periods of time where things are not working as they should. When this happens, none of the ANA flights show up on Air Canada. And then one day, out of the blue, the flights are back again. As I was making this video, I had planned to show you the Air Canada results. I had literally purchased my flight to Japan on Air Canada just the day before. But when I did the search, no ANA flights came up. I started looking for other flights that I knew should be there, and I couldn't find any ANA flights. I have no idea how long they're going to be gone this time, but I thought I should give you a warning so that you're not caught off guard. It is extremely frustrating, but it's not the end of the world because you can still book your flight on United or option 3, book with Virgin Atlantic. As I mentioned earlier, Virgin Atlantic has a non-alliance partnership with ANA, even though they aren't part of the same alliance, so you can book ANA flight awards through them. Unfortunately, though, you can't see the ANA award availability on the Virgin Atlantic website, so you are not able to book online. Instead, you need to call in, but don't worry too much because the agents that I've always talked to have been super nice and extremely knowledgeable. The number you should call is 1-800-365-9500. Once you get an agent on the line, provide them with the flight information that you got from the United site. They'll tell you that the business class award seat requires 47,500 miles plus $280 in taxes and fees. As you can see, you have 3 very different options to choose from. And as I said before, this is a decision that you have to make for yourself. I personally find Air Canada to be the happy middle ground, but not everyone feels that way. Let me know in the comments which option you think is best. If you decide to go with Virgin Atlantic, the agent on the phone can hold the flight for you for up to 24 hours while you transfer points and finalize your booking. Some of the agents will actually stay on the line with you during the point transfer process, and that way you only have to make one call. If that's the option you decide to go with, you'll be glad to know that it's very easy to earn points that can transfer to Virgin Atlantic. All 5 of the flexible travel reward credit card companies transfer there: Chase, Amex, Citibank, Capital One, and Bilt. When making your choice about whether to book at United or Air Canada or Virgin Atlantic, make sure that you check all of your flexible travel reward credit cards for transfer bonuses. For example, at the time I'm making this video, Chase is offering a 20% bonus if you transfer points to Air Canada's Aeroplan program, and Amex is offering a 30% bonus if you transfer points to Virgin. And this changes the numbers for both Air Canada and Virgin. If you take the transfer bonuses into account, then your requirements when booking through United would stay the same, but you would only need 62,500 points plus $76 to book through Air Canada, and an amazing deal of 36,538 miles plus $280 to book through Virgin. If you're not sure how to transfer points, take a look at my Air France video, where I take you through the process step by step. I'll put a link to the video in the description below. Also keep in mind that Chase, Capital One, and Bilt points will usually transfer immediately, but Amex and Citibank can take 24 or 48 hours, so be prepared for that. My transfers have always been immediate, but there are no guarantees. And that's everything you need to know if you're flexible and you're looking for close-in award availability to Japan. But there are certainly times when you don't have that flexibility, or when you actually need to fly on particular dates. So this brings us to scenario number 2. Booking when you have specific dates on which you need to travel. As I mentioned earlier, this was the situation I was in this week when I was looking for a business class or first class award on ANA to go to Japan. I didn't have flexibility. I had an event I was going to, so I needed to be in Japan during a particular period of time. Knowing that it can be difficult to find premium award space for inflexible bookings, I knew that I needed a game plan if I was going to make this work. The way things have been working lately, when a flight first becomes available to book, is that ANA will release maybe 1 or 2 business class seats and maybe 1 first class seat for that flight. If you aren't ready and waiting to grab that seat, you're probably going to lose out. And there are complications involved too, so let's start by looking at the complications. Complication 1. Different airlines release ANA award seats at different times. Since you need to be ready to grab the ANA seat as soon as it's available, you need to know which airlines release the flight space first. So here's how it currently stands to the best of my knowledge. ANA releases flights 355 days out. United releases flights 337 days out. Air Canada releases flights 355 days out, and Virgin Atlantic releases flights 331 days out. Since you need to book a premium award seat as soon as the flight becomes available, you need to book it directly from ANA or from Air Canada because the flights show up on those 2 sites first. If you wait until the flight shows up on United or Virgin, the premium award seats will almost certainly be gone already. Buying directly from ANA is an option for advanced travel hackers, but it is more complicated than what we're discussing today, so my recommendation is that we just stick with Air Canada. But this brings us to complication 2. There are times when ANA flights don't show up on Air Canada. As I explained earlier, this glitch just happens from time to time. I really hope that eventually Air Canada figures out what the problem is and fixes it for good. But in the meantime, you need to be aware because it could interfere with your plans to book. Complication 3. There are times when phantom award space shows up. As if it isn't annoying enough that there are times when ANA flights don't show up on Air Canada, the opposite situation can also occur. Basically, you may find an ANA award seat on Air Canada that's not really available. This is known as phantom award space. When I searched Air Canada for ANA award availability, there was a surprisingly large number of business class and first class seats available. Because of my experience doing these types of searches in the past, I knew that this much availability was extremely unusual and that I needed to check the flights with the ANA website to make sure that they were real. And I found that the availability I was finding on Air Canada was not actual availability on ANA. It was phantom space. Let me show you what this looks like. I go to Air Canada and search for availability on November 21st of next year. One way, book with points. My results show availability in business class on one ANA flight and availability in first class on another ANA flight. Let's check the 10:30 business class ANA award flight to see if it's real or phantom. To do this, we go to ANA, type in the flight information, Chicago to Tokyo, departing November 21st in business class. For ANA, you have to choose a return date too because award tickets are only offered on round-trip flights, but that shouldn't impact results. Hit search. When you scroll down, the departure dates are on the left side. Both flights are there, but they're both waitlisted, which means that there is no availability at the moment. While Air Canada indicated that the 10:30 flight had an available business class seat, ANA's site revealed that this wasn't true. It was phantom space. To find a real award seat, I had to take each of the award flights that were showing up on Air Canada and test them one by one on ANA's site. It took me a long time, but I eventually found a business class seat that fit my schedule going to Japan, and I found a first class seat coming back home. I booked these flights through Air Canada, taking advantage of the transfer bonus that I mentioned earlier. I kept double checking ANA's site the whole time I was transferring points and finalizing my purchase. And then I double checked with ANA on the phone to make sure that my reservations were showing up on their end. So clearly the booking process was frustrating and time consuming, but it did eventually yield the results that I needed. And when you succeed at getting a good but difficult redemption like this, the victory feels even better than usual. I hope you found this video to be useful. Comment below if you have any questions or any requests for future videos. And remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. It really does help the channel. Until next time, happy travels.